this time, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Roll call. This action is taken by calling each board member's name with the board member answering present. Mr. Murray.
Present.
Mr. Selby.
Present.
Ms. Wilson.
Present.
Ms. Hickenbotham.
Present.
Mr. Kazsuk.
Present.
All board members present.
Next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda.
I don't have anything to add or recommend to strike from the agenda, so if there's no corrections or amendments, I recommend that the agenda be approved as presented.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Mr. Selby. Vote.
Okay. Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Selby.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Hickenbotham.
Yes.
Mr. Kazsuk.
Yes. Next item is public comments.
I know Mr. Kaiser, our new JROTC instructor, I think is going to introduce himself during the public comments time. So this is a good time, Mr. Kaiser, and we're thankful to have you.
It's a pleasure being here, and thank you for everybody. I know Sister Brenda very well, Sister Joy very well. It's a pleasure being here. 22 years retired Navy. My wife, she's originally from here, Cindy Butler. And of course, with her and I together, we've got 10 children. So, love the kids. Okay, we're 7, but close enough. We have two girls that makes up for the other. We just had a granddaughter. I love her to death. I'm the new instructor over here for the JROTC, and MA1 myself have been working on planning out for next year also to try and get some interest drawn up. Some of the things that I would like to see us do is go on a trip to see some ships, and so that way they can get the feel of what it's like. I know that a lot of people think going into JROTC means that they're getting prepped for the military. It's not true. It's not true at all. Basically, a lot of it is for like the discipline and to prepare them for the once they get past the high school, they go on, to make whatever career they go into. It gives them that discipline.
The leadership skills, you all developed that,
Also.
absolutely.
That's true. But it helps them in that aspect too. My daughter-in-law, she was in JROTC when she went here, and she went on to go to college and go on to be a teacher. And it's helped her out a lot. So like I said, it's not just setting them up for the military, but also there are students. I know for me, when I was in high school, college wasn't for me. So there's some students out there where college is not for them. But this is another avenue. This is another way that they can build that career up. And going into the military, whatever branch it is, I've talked to some of them, and I told them, I said, the thing you want to do is when you go in, you want to set yourself up so if you're only going to do one enlistment. Once you get out, it's going to benefit you in the civilian world. Like for me, for instance, I went in as an electrician. I got a lot of training that was going to benefit me once I got out. So, and I think just the training period that I received from it set me up to be a success in life and to do what I love to do. I also am a part-time pastor at the James County United Methodist Church, and working through that, I've also brought those skills from the Navy into that to help out there too. So, but like I said, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you all for having me, and I really look forward to seeing great things happen.
Well, we're very fortunate to have Mr. Kaiser. We look forward to having back to a fully staffed NJROTC unit. I will publicly like to thank and acknowledge Colonel Betts. He's been in that role now for over a year in the sub capacity. He was Army though, and it's a Navy unit, and we couldn't have him. But the camaraderie was still there. So exactly. I do want to publicly thank Colonel Betts for the time that he's worked and spent with us. But Mr. Kaiser, and I know MA1 Boblet is really excited too. We're just really excited about some momentum and moving that program forward. We've got a great space. I know you all are excited for that. just so you won't ask me later, I've got an update on the furniture this evening. So he's just emailed me back again. So they'll get over there just as soon as we have some more furniture and stuff that's waiting to come in. But been using it for PT some and things like that in the new ACE building. But we're really excited to have Mr. Kazsuk, and he's hit the ground running, and some fresh ideas and good camaraderie with MA1, and got to meet Commander Baker at the inspection. So we're really excited. Thank you for being here. Yeah. That position had been vacant for a long time, so it was good. We may even give some more credit to Dr. Miles for talking about you, to kind of planted that seed again. Miss Brenda had planted it years ago, but the time wasn't right at that time.
She constantly reminds me, which is, like I said, I love her to death.
Anybody else? Yes, sir?
I said something similar last time, but I just want to thank you all again for being here, what you do with the schools. I moved here back in July from Sycamore Township, Ohio, north of Cincinnati, and my house was on 4/10 of an acre. Yeah, I could throw a quarter in my neighbor's house, but I was paying $6 grand a year in property tax. Most of it went to the school. So thank you for your wise appropriation of funds, because they were just throwing money out of the toilet. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being here. Yep, thank you.
Sir. Anyone else? No? Next item on the agenda is Russell County Education Association Certified Employee Recognition, Sheila Huff, Russell Springs Elementary School.
Yes, Miss Huff, you've got to get up too. You've got to get up too.
They make you stand as long as
I saw Miss Rhonda motion for you.
Everybody. I wanted to say this. I was so excited a couple of years ago, I think now, when I heard that Miss Sheila was coming to Russell County. I just felt like we were being blessed then.
We have been.
It's exciting tonight to be able to recognize her publicly for how much I admire her. I've known her for several years. Even when she was getting started as a teacher, and I've seen nothing but absolutely positive from her. So anyway, I'll go ahead and introduce Miss Sheila. She is currently working at Russell Springs Elementary School. She teaches 5th grade, and I can say that I see the effects of what she has done when I get those students. You have done an awesome job. This group of students that I have this year are just awesome writers. So good job in that position.
Yeah.
Subjects, this is my second year in ELA, specifically editing and mechanics and writing. Years taught include 7.5 years. Other schools or subjects, she taught 4th grade reading for 4.5 years and 3rd grade math. That's an odd combination there, isn't it? I've done that before too, go from math to reading for a year at Adair County Elementary School. Colleges attended Lindsey Wilson College, bachelor degree, P5, elementary education with a minor in Christian ministry. So I feel like that's an awesome combination there as well. Good for you. University of the Cumberland's Masters of Arts in Education, teacher as leader. What she likes best about teaching, what I love most about teaching is that I know without a doubt that God called me to do this, and I get the opportunity to help, inspire, and love on His creation. It is exciting to see how much students grow from the beginning of the year to the end, and to just let them know they are loved. Gosh, if we do nothing else as teachers, if we can just show a student they are loved, then we've done our job. Hobbies and activities, walk, read, and scrapbooking. Her favorite quote is, "The best, most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart," by Helen Keller. And anything else, when I asked if there's anything else she wanted to share, this was her anything else. I am very thankful to Kevin Reynolds and Russell County Schools for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this school district. I have 2 daughters that attended the schools here, and I am grateful for the wonderful teachers and staff that help them become the wonderful young ladies they are. So what a tribute to Russell County and to Miss Sheila as well.
Read that again.
Okay. It sounds very
thank you, Ms. Huff.
for Russell County.
Well, we are so fortunate to have you.
And so we're going to give Miss Sheila $100 that she can use maybe on a vacation this summer and get rested up or whatever she chooses to. But congratulations. I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Again, I just want to say thank you. I really do appreciate this, and I'm thankful for Russell County Schools, just like what she said. I mean, every word of that. One of my daughters is back here, and she's a testament to Russell County Schools, and she will graduate nursing school from Somerset
That's wonderful.
in about 3 weeks. So
Great.
I am so proud of the education that they receive here, and I'm most of all thankful to God for calling me to do this, and the wonderful people that I get to work with every day. I mean, they're like my family, and just thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Upper. Proud to have you. Yeah, that's right.
Marlon, happy birthday. School first. Okay, next item on the agenda is construction updates, bus garage and football field house.
So Mr. Jonathan Smith, Vice President of Operations with Branscombe, provide an update on this for us. Yeah, we can, Ms. Carroll will get those lights.
I just want to show you all a few pictures of update what's going on at Bus Garage and Field House. We finally had a little weather to start some site work. We had a progress meeting last Thursday. Took these pictures from them. Big open area you see there, that's the retention basin. That's where all the runoff water will run into for this site. Of course, where you see those buses still parked there, that will turn into what's going to be the extension of the parking lot. You can see the bus garage there, kind of the lower left. Of course, that will get demoed once the new bus garage is completed. Obviously, that won't start until we're completely done, because y'all got to move some lifts and some equipment up there, and they've got to get everything transitioned over. So that'll be one of the last things that happens is the old bus garage coming down. But that whole area you see there, it's rock now, will eventually turn into new parking. This is moving along. You can see the road going around behind what's the new track, getting over to the visitor side, and I'll show you here in just a minute, but you can see they're starting to get that road in. We're going to start over on the visitor side first and work our way back. So you see the pad behind the bleachers there where the stone's down, directly behind the bleachers, in between that and the practice field. That's where the visitors field house will be located. Our rebar actually showed up last week. We're going to start installing rebar, get ready to start foundations, hopefully later on this week if the weather allows. Obviously, the weather is a factor. This is just looking back the other direction of at the visitor locker room, right around the track. You can see where work is continuing. We're getting rock down, we're getting dirt spread on the bank down there. So work's progressing along really well. And I think I've got, I'll show you, actually flew it while I was here Thursday, so you can see kind of this is starting at the visitors locker room, and then it takes you back across what will be the home locker room, and then back to the parking lot. But you can see they're getting the dirt in. We've got silt fence up, obviously between you all and the neighbors, so that silt stays on your side while we're under construction. And we're trying to maintain a safe distance from the track so we don't have any damage there. That's why I want to go ahead and get the road in, get the stone down, so we can run on all this time during construction. You can see there, that's the road going back around to what will become the new parking lot, and it takes you back over. Of course, we used all the dirt from the retention basin that we dug out. That's what we're building the roadway and the pads for the building with. We've got plenty of material, so that all the material's been wasted on site. We're not having to haul anything off. You can see the right there, I was talking about the buses, that's what will turn into the new parking lot. Parking lot will be almost all the way down to that retention basin. Not really starting anything up at the bus garage yet. We want to get the work done down here at the field house first and get it up and going. Our building, actual pre-engineer building, is supposed to arrive in about 30 days. It's going to be here plenty of time, so we're going to start having steel show up in about 30 days. So
Did they change that?
it was like the 20 whatever, well, it's actually less than 30 days.
It was April 29th, wasn't it? Yeah, April 29th is what we talked about last week.
Yeah, April 20, you're right, April
Yeah.
29th, yeah. So we'll have steel on the
Because I
ground
told,
there,
I told Mr. Greider, just
Yeah.
for coordination purposes, yeah.
buses, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a lay down area scheduled out where the building's gonna go, so we can get everything down here. So it's, as long as weather cooperates, it should roll right along right now.
Just think of that view right there, and then to the right of the retention pond where we have parking, for our events, how nice that will be.
And then once the old bus garage is gone, you're gonna have all that space there.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have quite a bit of parking,
It's really gonna clean everything up.
well-lit parking.
Be great.
Any
But
questions?
again, as Mr. Smith mentioned at the very beginning, in reality, the rain has been an extreme hindrance. We've got to do the site work before anything else can happen, and it's been tough.
It's been so strong. It blows every day, don't it?
Any other questions?
I noticed when he's coming down that road, it looked like a narrow strip of woods there. Is that gonna stay
We'll go back.
between the football field and those and where?
That might, maybe the fence line, Mr. Murray.
I think it's bigger than what the picture I seen a while ago was.
Yeah, there's no woods between where we're building it. That's the property line that runs down that right side.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
my
know.
neighbors.
I thought it looked like just a narrow strip, maybe 20 feet wide.
Was it to the right of the field, or when he
Yeah,
was
when you
back?
first going down behind the field house there. But it's on the field house on the other side.
Yeah, there's none, there are no trees back through there.
Okay.
It could have been that field, the fence line though, that joins the
That's more or less
neighbors.
what it looked like, a fence line.
Okay.
That's what I said, it's just
Okay.
narrow, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the property line.
Yeah, the property line,
Okay.
yep.
Well, the lights from the field, it'll be enough lighting for the parking.
No, we'll have some parking lights, yes.
You'll have parking lot lights,
Yes.
individual parking
Yeah,
lot
'cause
lights.
it's pretty dark. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that at one of the progress meetings, yes, some parking lot lights.
Any other questions?
That must not have been the line I seen, because it's between the football field and where the those and that now. The property line wouldn't have been between them.
That one,
No.
You're talking about this line to
Is
the
that
left of that
It
dozer?
looked like probably a 20 foot wide maybe, over the hillside like.
I think he's talking about when you did the aerial.
It wouldn't have been a property line, because the football field wouldn't have been on the other side, or the ball field wouldn't have been on the other side of it.
no, but there's no,
I don't have no idea.
Yeah. I think he's talking about the fence line back there.
Oh, dear. You went blank. No internet in your area.
they power down sometimes quick, don't they?
Yeah.
Are you talking about that fence line,
I
Gerald?
guess it is, because that ain't the football field there in the green.
No,
No,
that's
that's
green
your
field.
neighbor.
That field
Okay,
doesn't
somebody else's
belong to
field.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your
It's a
property
That is a
line.
property
That's
line,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, the
okay.
tree line's property line.
Yeah. Messy looking, ain't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all right.
That's, David Turner's, ain't it?
Yes,
Yes, it'll
yeah,
turn.
it's pretty field he's got.
Any other questions?
No, we appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
I don't blame him, dude. Don't blame him a bit.
Next item on the agenda is Leading Lakers Fellowship Year in Review.
Okay, you all are in for a treat. We're just so proud of this inaugural group of Leading Lakers, and I mentioned it today at the principal meeting, but I want to thank Mrs. McFall and Ms. Shear, and then our instructional coaches that have made this year. I think those of you all that have participated will attest to the fact it's been a great year and a great opportunity. So I don't know who's taking the lead, but whoever that is, I'll turn it over to you right now. Dr. Bartrug, you're taking the lead.
Lord, everybody interested. You need us to, you want us to?
Well, I'm bringing you something.
Oh,
Oh, everybody's getting up. I just thought you might be up. Thank you.
We would just like to thank you all for this opportunity. This was a need in our county. We have teachers that were just wanting to be a part. They wanted to improve the climate in the district. We work collaboratively with all the schools now. So we thank you for allowing us to do this. So we hope that this continues for years to come because it's been really enjoyable. We've met the third Thursday of every month, well, most months. December, some of them are a little crazy. We meet, we talk about Tier 1, we talk about how we can improve in the classroom, how we can improve in leadership within our school. We've had guest speakers like Junior Achievement. I've got to throw Miss Hannah in here somehow. Miss Hannah
I
England.
would expect that you would.
And Miss Susie Stevens, who came to speak about differentiation and also making sure that we're reaching our gifted students while they're in the classroom also, along with work with MTSS and the different Tier 2 and Tier 3 within our classroom. Chris Godby, who was not able to be here today, has been there with the instructional coaches, and he's always showing them new tech stuff that's out. They've completed surveys to help guide us and tell us what they wanted to hear. This was actually one of the things that we did. We just had asked them what they had learned from this. Actually didn't plan on using it in the presentation, and we were so amazed by their responses. We were like, we've got to go ahead and present this to you all and let you see. The last thing that I want to say, and then I want to turn the floor over to anything they want to say or the other coaches, is in addition to thanking you all and Ms. Sharon, Ms. McFall, I also want to give a shout out to Lindsay Wilson-Gosser at State Farm. She got sick and she's not able to be here. I know she really wanted to, but she is so supportive of our whole community when it comes to anything with leadership or schools. And when we went to her and asked if she would sponsor one meal, because we provide them with a lunch by a local business here, she said, one meal, I'll do them all.
Yep.
And so she comes up, she greets them, she
Yeah.
talks with them, brings us dessert, brings us something to drink. She's just been absolutely amazing to work with. So I wanted to give her a shout out,
Yes.
just for the support that she gives Russell County Schools.
I just want to say thank you all for just allowing us to do this. I think when we had this vision,
When everybody speaks, just say your name and what you're doing. So that way, when it's
I'm Rebecca Skaggs, instructional coach at Salem Elementary. But just real quick, wanted to say thank you for giving us this opportunity. I don't know about everyone else, but these are my favorite days of each month. And in an elementary, you might not always understand what's happening in a high school or a middle school classroom. So for me, that was really neat to hear about the things that like Miss Leah was teaching, and she would blow us away with her content and some things that we all maybe didn't understand.
High school science.
Yes, so it was just the best days, and I'm just thankful and I appreciate you all allowing us to do this.
And I'm Heather Sloan, I'm instructional coach at Russell Springs Elementary, and I just commend our participants. Wow, and we're missing one participant from the middle school, but they just poured their energy and their time into the process. They wholeheartedly dived in and just, grabbed a hold of the information to see what they could do with it to learn and grow their teaching. So I just appreciate each one of them.
I'm Susan Walters, instructional coach at Jamestown Elementary. And as you know, teachers give and give. We say teaching is a work of art, right? It's neat for us who we look at these teachers who are constantly giving of themselves, and for Leading Lakers Fellowship, it's our chance to pour into them. So then when they go back, their buckets are full and they can share with teachers and students and the entire school. So great job, Leading Lakers.
I'm Leah Thompson. I teach high school biology. I was kind of shocked when Dr. Broadstroke walked in and Mr. Holmes with my balloons, and it's like, I'm still kind of young. This will be 2.5 years at the end of this year. But I can say for a fact that this program has made me the most confident I've ever been in a classroom. End of year observation, Mr. Holmes was there, and being option 6, I'm now officially a certified teacher, but being option 6, I've been observed. Being option 6, I've been observed numerous times, and I always had jitters. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. But after going through this program and being with all of these awesome people, just once a month, he was like, okay, Miss Thompson, are you ready? For the state. I was like, oh, I'm ready. No nervous jitters, no nothing, because of this wonderful program that you've all obviously approved, and these wonderful wonderful ladies right here gave me the utmost confidence in the classroom, and now I feel confident I can share that with people at the high school as well.
Good job. Wow.
I am Brittany Creech. I teach 4th grade at Russell Springs Elementary School, and my favorite part of this program was just meeting not only with the instructional coaches, but with these fellow leading Lakers here. We rarely get the opportunity to meet with teachers in other schools, and it was just nice to bounce ideas off of other people who were so open-minded and there for the same reasons as myself. You know, we were willing to do whatever, you know, they threw our way, and we would take it back to our schools and implement it and share it. But I always knew that I could, you know, call on them and see how's it going at your school, you know, and share things like that. So it was really nice to just be part of it.
I am Brittany Blakey. I'm a 2nd grade teacher at Jamestown Elementary, and I joked with Brittany that I was just going to piggyback off her answer, but I am, and I wrote that in that. That's been my favorite part, is just getting to work with teachers from other schools, because we we work with our team at our school, but we don't really get the opportunity to be with the other schools. Sometimes we look at them as competition, but really they're our teammates as well. So this has been a good lesson in that we can call them in at other times. Good job.
I'm Amber Humble. I teach 4th grade reading at Salem Elementary, and my favorite part, I think, besides all the food, because that was super good, was the technology part. I'm kind of like a tech guru anyway, so that part was really, really fascinating to me, just having that to take back to my kids, and they're, you know more than we do with technology, really, so that really helped, like, the engagement and interaction in my classroom. They've absolutely loved everything that I've been able to take back to them, and like they've all said, just getting to hang out with you guys and bounce ideas and, you know, make our own little squad here. It's been really fun.
Be like a sorority now.
Yeah, like,
you know, going forward. Yeah. Would you like to read maybe Leslie's, Miss Brown's?
And then Miss Leslie Brown, middle school, she had some other obligations today with her children. But Miss Leslie says, the amount of knowledge I have gained in this time has helped me grow as a teacher. There have been several different tools that I have been able to take back to my classroom and use with my students. The tech tools have opened up a world of possibilities I didn't know existed. This group makes me think and keeps me engaged in what I am doing in my own classroom. I am always reflecting on what I have done, but more importantly, what I should have done with my units. I have grown in so many ways throughout this experience. It has been the best experience. And Miss Leslie Brown does 8th grade math at the middle school. And I think that's just a good ending to them all presenting, because these ladies have such a growth mindset. They all applied to be a part of this program. Yes, we surprised them with balloons when they were selected, but they filled out an application and they applied because they wanted to grow and they wanted to do whatever they could for their students. They wanted to learn. And to me, that speaks multitudes just in the fact of where they are and what they want. So I'm kind of sad. I told them on the last meeting, I was a little sad because it's over. Like,
definitely capacity building, leadership development. They're already leaders, or they wouldn't have done that. But I think resounding, you all would recommend your peers apply and go through this as well. And I love what Ms. Walter said as well, as we have the opportunity to pour back in. Oftentimes teachers have to pour a lot out, right? But this is a good opportunity that we've been able to pour back in. I didn't put somebody on the spot, but we've talked a little bit about, and I've said in some of the sessions and always been amazed, but just kind of give the highlights of pick out one of the sessions maybe, and just talk about, I mean, you all weren't sitting down the whole time. You were up and had walkthroughs, and Heather had stuff on the wall, and everybody's going around talking. And so it wasn't just a sit and get, and people just sat around and talked by any means. It was an active, participatory, engaging event every time that these happened.
it was so full. Every single time we met, it was completely full. There was always a welcoming activity that we did, kind of a get to know you, but it was always an activity they could turn around and take back to their students. Mm-hmm. We always used Kagan structures. We are a Kagan district. We've gone through day 3 and we'll be doing day 4 for the upcoming school year. So they were doing Kagan structures. And then after anything that went on where they were moving around, they would then sit and they would discuss, and they would be like, well, this is how this looks in my classroom, and this is how this looks in my classroom. And opportunities like hearing a 2nd grade teacher and a high school teacher be able to go back and forth and say, oh, well, I could do this little twist and that would work in my room or with my content. They were able to have those conversations with us. We looked at reading fluency. We
Lot of
looked at
data.
a lot of data. We talked to them about how to use that data and how to set goals with that data so that the data meant something. If they're just numbers, it doesn't matter if you have the data if you're not using the data and you don't know how to use the data, and to let the students know you're using the data. We talked about visual learning, the impact, which things had more of an impact than other things in the classroom.
I'm thinking about feedback, giving effective feedback, making sure it's just what it needs to be for students to grow in an area maybe that's a concern.
But they kind of practiced like they were students, so it was never really a sit and get lecture type thing. It was, okay, we're going to present you this, and now we're going to play with it like we're kids, so that when we go into our classroom, we know how to help our students. And that's just kind of how we did everything.
I just want to share too, one thing that I loved was I would meet Miss Amber in the hallway, and she would be like, hey, can we go over this again? And then someone else would come to me and would say, Miss Amber told me that you all did this in that fellowship yesterday. I want to do that now.
Oh, see, that's wonderful,
And
yes.
so it was like the word, I felt like, in some ways, the word kind of got around. And
Yeah, they all want to apply now.
But see, Ms. Skaggs is also talking about how important it is for these coaches to be in the buildings. They're invaluable, our instructional coaches, and the services that they provide our teachers, which in turn help our students.
Also, a shout out to Brittany and Leslie, which Leslie's not here, but they went to Epic Numeracy with Greg and came back from Epic Numeracy and actually used one of the activities, and they led a piece
Oh, okay.
of one of our meetings also.
Great. Great. Well, it has been outstanding, and we'll have another group for the 25-26 school year. Mrs. McFall, Ms. Sheard, do y'all have anything to add? She's been sick.
I'm very proud of our coaches who launched this initiative in the first place. We had a need for just building leadership within our district. Obviously, you see the want for the teachers. So all of them being so engaged throughout this year, and like you saying, to sit within those sessions to see the good things that are put in front of you. I'm so proud of each and every one of them. Thank you for y'all for allowing us to do it.
It's been phenomenal. Ms. Jamie, Jim?
I just think that instructional coaches are still invaluable to our buildings. They're the driver that gets information to our buildings from central office, so
Yes.
they're a blessing to work with.
Definitely boots on the ground. We do have a certificate to give each of you all. It reads, Ms. Lea's was on top. Certificate of recognition awarded to Leah Thompson for your participation in the inaugural Leading Lakers Fellowship to celebrate your contribution to the foundation of a new educational journey. So thank you so very much. We got one for Ms. Lindsay, too. She supported us so much. Now, stand up there one more time for the certificates, and we'll get another picture.
You gonna stand with them?
No.
No?
Just get them.
Yeah.
You text that to me when you're done. Send that to me.
Yeah, and then no, for the Laker picture, please.
I know you told me, but I don't know who did it.
Go to Russell County Online and watch it on YouTube also.
Then I have four.
You get it on the news in the morning for WRS, and then you can watch it again on Russell County Online. So,
Thank you.
thank you all. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Mine could be too. That's good stuff, isn't it? Yeah, it's really good stuff.
They seen how they ordered it.
Really good stuff. Thank you all.
I miss Susan.
Next item on the agenda is consent agenda.
We have the previous meeting minutes, payment of bills, school activity fund reports, field trips, and the treasurer's monthly report. Ms. Carnes?
Treasurer's report for the month of March 2025. The balance on hand at the beginning of the month was $22,206,443.12. Receipts for the month were $2,138,081.25, and that brought our total receipts and beginning balance together of $24,344,524.37. Disbursements for the month were $1,789,710.28, and that brought our balance at the close of the month to $22,554,814.09. In fund balances in the general fund, Fund 1, $11,088,052.28. Special projects, Fund 2, negative $46,371.20. District activity, Fund 21, negative $176,344.71. Capital outlay, Fund 310, $133,398 even. FSPK Building Fund, Fund 320, $1,239,390.69. Construction Fund 360, $9,632,032.25. Debt Service Fund 400, $0. Food Service Fund 51, $681,614.38. Fiduciary Fund, Fund 7,000, $3,042.40. And our total cash and bank for all the funds is $22,554,814.09.
Thank you, Ms. Carnes. There are no changes or amendments. I recommend approval of the consent agenda items.
Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Selby? Vote.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is 2025-2026 district staffing and site-based decision-making allocation policy.
So we have to do we have to give the site-based councils their final allocations by May 1, and this is the allocations not included of the federal funds or special education funds, but the teachers that have to be allocated by the state funds, and then their Section 6 supply money. And so they'll have their final allocation due by law on by May 1st, and then the site-based councils and the principals will talk about them. No changes from the tentative one, except for we did go ahead and increase the per pupil amount from the $100 minimum amount to the $160.51. So that's based upon 88. So their average daily attendance times $160.51 equals their what's referred to their Section 6 or their supply money. Think of copier bills and all those big ticket items is the principals and site-based councils use that. Otherwise, there were no changes to any of the, unless I've missed something, Ms. Carnes. We didn't have anything from the tentative. Yep. So I recommend the approval of the final staffing formula, SBDM allocations, and the staffing allocation policy for the 25-26 school year, and the formula becomes part of the minutes.
Motion. Gerald makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Joy? Vote.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
Yes. Next item is out-of-state and/or overnight trips.
The following groups have received approval from the superintendent for the following out-of-state or overnight trips. April 23rd, Russell County High School, NJOTC, to Sergeant Alvin York's State Park in Palm Off, Tennessee. May 2nd, 2025, NJOTC to the National Museum at the United States Air Force Base in Ohio. And June 9th to the 12th at Russell County High School FFA for the state convention. So I recommend approval of the out-of-state and/or overnight trips as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Second, Joy? Vote.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
Yes. Next item is contracts and/or memorandum of agreements.
The following contracts, memorandums of agreements are attached for your review and approval. Fiscal year 25 independent auditor contract with Montgomery & Company. The Vision Itinerant Services contract with Reed Braille Incorporated. Just a reminder, that is for our students that are visually impaired. We don't directly employ a teacher that can teach Braille, so we contract. And then with the Alpha Energy Solutions, the preventative maintenance agreement, We spend a lot of money in this district on HVAC and the units, and some of them are getting a little older. And I've talked to some folks in other school districts, and this Alpha Energy Solutions is on a state bid list. And Ms. Carnes and I have talked about it, and Mr. Scott Thomas and I have met with them on multiple times and went through a scope of work. And we may do this, if you all agree, 1 year, and we never do it again. We may do it every year and never look back and keep doing it. But it's just exactly that. They'll come in on some of our high-ticket items, and they're trained in those machines and to calibrate them and just to check a lot of stuff, and exactly as it is. So it's preventative maintenance agreements. And they do this in a lot of school districts. They do this in judicial centers. But I'm anxious to try this to see if we can kind of get ahead of some of our HVAC problems that we're having on some of our big tickets and our, I'll call our big units, our air handlers and things such as that. So like I said, we've looked at them, and has the location of the equipments that they'll be looking at, some of the water source heat pumps at Russell Springs, the units at high school, Salem, the ANC, the new ATC, and they'll come in there and just do some of the items. It's not a be-all, we're still changing filters and things like that, but it's just some of the big items that they can hopefully do preventative maintenance on, that we don't have a breakdown to where we're replacing a compressor or something like that. So with your all's approval, I would like to see this. It's $15,000 per year. That doesn't pale in what sometimes cost does it, Ms. Carnes, in repair of some of these units. So I think it's a very reasonable price. Like I said, their services are on a state price bid list. So I would really like to see how it would go for the year, and then reevaluate and see where we're at with it on the Alpha Energy Solution. So be happy to.
Who fixes these whenever we go on?
Sometimes we can do it in-house, and then sometimes we have to contract. It just depends on what the.
That's high.
Oh, yes. Oh, these units are.
We can't hardly ever get nobody to come.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking major bucks. So those are those three. So I recommend approval of the contracts or memorandums of agreement that's been approved by the board attorney.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Joy, second? Any
I'll
second? Second, Brenda? Vote?
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Hickenbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazoo?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is amended 2024-2025 school calendar.
So this isn't changing our end-of-year date. House Bill 241 allowed that flexibility to where we were off the Friday before spring break when all the rain, and we had flooding in the county. We had bus turnarounds that were a mess, and we took off that day. And we have enough banked hours to where we met that 1,062 instructional hours. And so we did not have to meet the 170-day requirement this year. The legislature passed that with House Bill 241. So we appreciate that flexibility. That helped us in Russell County, but my superintendent friends in some of the counties that school districts that's been significantly impacted by the flooding and really the winter weather throughout the state, it gave them some good options as well. So we really appreciate that. But barring some other, main water break or another weather event, hopefully we do not have to utilize any other issues with House Bill 241. So this just formally amends the calendar to reflect that day. So I recommend approval of the amended 24-25 school calendar as presented. So again, graduation doesn't change. It's still that Friday, May 30th.
Motion?
I'll make a motion.
You make a motion, Joy? Second, Gerald? Vote?
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Hickenbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazoo?
Yes. Next, next item on the agenda is school-wide fundraisers.
We have April 25th, 2025, the Queen Bee Ice Cream for Jamestown Elementary School. Russell County High School PTO, they're selling the senior banners in the month of May of 2025. And then on May 9th, 2025, they're going to have a Rook tournament. So you've probably seen the flyers regarding that. So I recommend approval of the school-wide fundraisers.
I'm putting the partner.
On the 9th.
Motion, Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Okay. Second? Brenda? Vote?
Hold on, Miss Joy, she's already graduated. Oh, my goodness.
3 years.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Miss Wilson?
Yes.
Miss Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazsuk?
Yes.
It seems like yesterday.
She's crying on the class trip.
What did you do?
You need this? Okay.
Flip her back and try it again.
She just cried a little while. She had
Next item on the agenda is district-wide facility survey.
So I know it seems like we just did this, but next year, our district facility plan will be due again. And one of the first parts of that is selecting a firm to do what's called the facility surveys, to where an architectural firm will come in, they'll do the evaluations of our building, put that into KFix. That's an online system that Kentucky Department of Education has contracted with. They'll also bring in the engineers as applicable, and just a real big rundown of all of our buildings, and then that is part of it, of what goes into our district facility plan as far as needs go. And so they'll evaluate everything from the building envelope to egress, to life and safety, to ADA, to roof, to HVAC, basically everything, and give a rundown of that. Normally, the fee schedule is set by KDE, and it would be based upon our square footage of $25,939.45. But as you note in the letter that I gave you in your board packet, that they noted as due to the relationship they have with our school district, that they would like to discount, or they have discounted that to $17,500 for that. That's for the district-wide facility survey. So I've included their letter in there, and then also the notification from KDE, the Kentucky Department of Education, noting that it will be due next year. So at a future board meeting, you all will have to give authorization again to convene the local planning committee. One of you all will need to serve, be elected amongst yourself to serve on that, and then we'll approve that list of people to serve on the local planning committee, and we'll have that series of meetings next year to make that proposal, then send it to the state for approval. And then that goes into our funding mechanism with the state, because they see our need of our facilities with that. So having said that, it's very important that the information is captured accurately, because Mr. Hoover knows that. Legislators review that information, and that need is very great on your offers of assistance that we get from the state. So anyway, I recommend approval of the agreement with Sherman Carter Barnhart for Russell County Schools district-wide facility survey.
Make a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Brenda. Vote?
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Miss Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazsuk?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is Russell County Schools Children's Theater.
Miss Anna, not to put you on the spot, but since you're here, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Of course.
Yeah.
Lesbian would I be if I didn't care to get up to speak?
That's right.
My name is Hannah England, and I am the Gifted and Talented Coordinator for Russell County. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. Before COVID, I was over the Children's Theater through our 21st Century Grant. Of course, then COVID happened and the world changed, and since then, we no longer have that grant. But there's a couple of teachers that approached me, Mary Burton and Shana Eubank. They are teachers at Salem, and they are with my help, both of the three of us was interested in reinstating the after-school children's theater to give children the opportunity to be in a performing arts here. We have a beautiful facility here. We've got very talented students. And it can offer a way to service these students. Of course, with just, I think of the gifted hat that I wear, those students being able to have a sense to be identified for a theater in or in gifted. With the MTSS framework that our district is pushing out that services the needs of all students, that would be a very great component to go with that as well. And so with our plan, we spoke with Mr. Ford with the possibility we thought maybe $2,500 would be a good amount to get us started. In the fall, we would plan, we would prepare, and then would like to do a spring show. And with that show, looking at the surrounding counties to charge admission, a reasonable amount, of course, but then the money raised from that show would go into the fund to continue the longevity of the program. But we had great success with it whenever we did it through the 21st Century program. Even other counties had came over to watch the program. So we would like to see that to come back with your permission.
And so to structure it, that we would, in the afternoon, we would bus students from each of the elementary, if you want to just kind of go through that, of how we would make it work.
What worked well in the past that we would like to do again, of course, with an issue of transportation, I know it's hard with this star. We have a wonderful local star theater, but having to get kids there to practice, not every kid has an opportunity. So we thought if we would able to have practice right after school, then the board could help us bus those students. And there's already a bus coming here from Russell Springs Elementary, so that would just be in addition a few of the students. So you're looking at Jamestown and Salem, busing students here for practice, maybe 2 or 3 days a week, until about 4 or 4:30. And so with us being school employees, like we could be here with the facility with watching those students as well.
Then the parents would have one central location.
That's what I wanted, the parents would pick them up.
Yeah, they would pick them up here.
Yes, and then, yes, so all students would be able to be picked up here.
So it costs anywhere from $500 up for the rights of a play.
Yes, sir, depending on the play that you get. I know with I think, that I've had a little bit of experience with the Star Theater. The rights alone to perform some of the, like Matilda, I was in a few years ago, you're looking at like $5,000 just to perform in anything with Disney. Of course, we're not looking at that. We're trying to be to save that. But $500-600, you're looking at just the rights to perform it, to make the money and get the permissions to perform it. But then we thought about with being crafty with costumes, we're the Goodwill and trying to reuse, and a lot of times we might have students to, if you're a tree, to wear all brown, or if you're, something with green, and then we could add to it. So I really don't think the cost, like when we were looking at the $2,500, could truly put on a pretty good show for our students and their families.
And I'll call it seed money to start it.
Yes, to kind of feed in to continue that program. And we would also like to do some fundraising. I know before we had a few high school students that wanted to keep this going, and so they had asked, I think First National Bank had sponsored the first show, and we truly were in the process of practicing, and then that's when COVID hit. It kind of put a stop to it, and then we just didn't bring it back. So I think it's time, with your all's permission, if we could, we'd like to reinstate it.
Absolutely.
And they're willing to volunteer their time.
Yes, that's something when Miss Burton and Miss Eubank had approached me too. They said, we're volunteering our time here at the Star Theater, and of course our children are in it, we love it. We would like to do that here. And so that's something that all three of us were like, we don't care, because we see that as a need here, but to be able to pour that into our schools and to let kids address it.
It's amazing how many kids at juniors do.
Oh, yes, we're looking at offering into 3rd grade and older, just because when you start to get into the smaller ones, it's a little more of a handle from experience I've had. But there's a lot of kids that will show up for that. And we'll try to utilize as many as we can. But with the 3, you can maybe only do. But we also had talked about in the fall, in the future, offering like theater camps for a week, and that could be to reignite the program. And to give the children who maybe don't make it into it the first time a chance to explore their acting abilities as well. Yeah. So just another thing. So thank you.
I could be like, a door holder, a tree. Yeah, there you go.
I was thinking.
Though we've added around another idea that we would love to see happen is a faculty and staff play.
No, I'm looking out there.
Miss Rhonda, wouldn't that be fun?
That would be. We used to do that at Union Chapel.
It would be so fun to have the Russell County Schools faculty and staff play.
And the kids love.
I've got parts for every one of you all out there.
Big money.
Well, everybody can't be a tree. Unless it's a forest.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion.
You're right. So I recommend approval of the $2,500 for supplies and expenses related to Russell County Schools Children's Theaters.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Mr. Selby?
Everybody seconds it.
Vote?
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
Yes.
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Hannah. Yep. Thank you.
Appreciate you. What would you do with the school board, or the school board?
Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous surplus property.
I'm going to put Mr. Hoover on the spot for just a second, if you don't care. Just thinking through this, Mr. Hoover, we've got some of this like the junk. I mean, the junk metal. Would we need to solicit bids on that, or just take it, the board authorized the
We can't
disposal
sell
of
it?
that and take
Just sell
that to sell it?
They won't buy junk?
You have to solicit.
Okay, okay. So we'll go ahead and go through all this. We have the old football scoreboard. We have 2 signs, the former ATC and UCS, miscellaneous bleachers and bleacher parts, 2 old mowers. We have that stack of countertops that you saw, and then just miscellaneous junk metal, the old dumpsters, the metal frames, and all those things like that. So if pending your all's authorization for approval, we would, that's why I was asking clarification with Mr. Hoover. For instance, we would tell potential bidders like the old metal dumpsters and their steel frames, and that would be one part for them to bid on, and then everything else that we could take bids on. We do have some interest on, I'm confident the bleachers will be gone. We've got some people that are interested in the old bleachers. They're anything that we're going to use as a school district. So you can see the,
Here's your mower.
it's just stuff that's been collected and nobody wanted to throw it away at the time. But as we're cleaning up that area in preparation for paving with behind the bus garage, we just need rid of this stuff. So I recommend that the Russell County Board of Education declares the items as surplus property and authorize Superintendent Ford and/or his designee to advertise for sealed bids with the option to reject any and all bids. So we would put this out there, take the bids, and bring it back to you all for approval.
Motion?
I'll make a motion.
You make a motion, Joy?
Seems like I ought to.
Second?
I'll second.
You'll second, Brenda?
I'm not bid.
There you go. Vote?
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
Yes.
I never could find that Union Chapel sign.
It's plenty right behind the other one. They're leaning up there together.
I love that. I couldn't find it.
Next item on the agenda is bleachers for tennis.
We hadn't ordered any bleachers yet for tennis, and they've been kind of bringing their own chairs and things such as that. So this is the same company that we got the bleachers for the visitor side of the baseball. They were super to work with, and the prices were so good. And they're on multiple bid lists, but this particular one is KPC Purchase Pros. But this is 2 sets of bleachers, 3-row, 15-foot long, 2 sets. They'll come in, install them. You'll notice there for the individual breakout prices, but total for $10,369.22 for that. And again, we can use the funds from the First National Bank Naming Rights Fund. The concrete pad and everything for the bleachers is already there at the tennis courts areas. So this would give them a little bit of seating for them.
Yeah.
A lot of them bring their own though. Is why Mr. Kinder and I have talked about it to begin with, about doing that or waiting, but he's requested that, and we don't have any permanent seating for them, so I'm certainly in agreement. So I recommend approval of the quote from Bleachers and Seats, utilizing funds from the First National Bank Naming Rights Fund.
Motion. Mr. Selby, second. You need a second.
I'll second.
Second it, Joy. Vote?
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is Russell County Middle School ANC Canopy bid results.
So when I had got that letter from Justin McElfresh with the bids for the canopy, I'd forwarded it to you, noting the date that the pre-bid was held, advertisement in the newspaper, and then he and I were here for the bid opening day, but we did not receive any bids on the canopy for the middle school and the A&C. The siren, every time we're here, there's sirens. For that project. So just a few things I'll note. We are a model procure district, so Justin told me to remind you all, if since we are model procurement and we didn't receive any bids, he can go directly to vendors and have a conversation with them. Also, I will want to note that with the middle school closer than what we had originally thought, and there's some things in the works, it may be even closer than what we had talked about the last time. I think that's something to consider as well. So there's no action to take, obviously, because we didn't have any bids, but it's whatever the discretion of the board for that project. But I do think that I'm really feeling comfortable and confident on some things that we're working on to even accelerate the middle school project even further than what we had talked about last month.
Okay. Next item is informational marching band practice area tower.
Appreciate Mr. Irvin, Ms. Harrington coming in and being with us, and I know they're anxious to hear this conversation. The band, you all know where the band currently practices.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. That's right. They practice out there in front of the cafeteria and the middle school parking lot. With the new tennis courts, we have the old tennis court area. Mr. Irvin and Ms. Harrington and I have been batting this around quite a while, and we've had a few meetings out there on site as well about converting the old tennis court area into a marching band practice area. And so a lot of things for that. So there's lighting already there. We do have to move a pole or two, but that would be have to part of the scope of the work. There's lighting already there. The proximity to your band and just moving stuff would be just absolutely phenomenal of getting back in and things like that. And then just the structure of being there, and we would need to erect a band tower, a practice tower for the band. And I've met on site. I've shared those plans with Ms. Harrington and Mr. Irvin to look at. They're not final plans. They're nothing to bring to you all for approval. Just some things we've been working in the background to bring to you all to talk about. So with that area, it would have to have the fencing come down that surrounds it, and we would put up new fencing on part of the perimeter that goes over that part. Obviously, have to have the band tower and the footings and things with that. We would need to expand the side a little bit that's to the north take the scope of the width of the marching practice area. And then there's some things like Mr. Irvin and I talked about today of the actual placement of the tower, of how close to the marching band area and how high the tower could be. So I'm going to hush for a minute and let Mr. Irvin and or Ms. Harrington talk about the need and then what this could mean for the band program.
We take a lot of pride in standing on top of the box truck out here in front of the cafeteria, and the success that we've had throughout the years. Sometimes it's just kind of funny to just drive by here and look and see that and know that we're making it happen with that. But as Mr. Ford has said, we're really excited about the possibility of having the proximity close to the band room to transport equipment in and out, and just less wear and tear, especially a lot of those percussion instruments that are some of the more expensive instruments that we have. And then being able to have a nice surface like that.
One thing I didn't talk about is the surface. What would we do with that?
What I would propose is that after you extend it, have it paved just like a tennis court, kind of that smooth kind of surface, painted green to kill some of the heat so it's not just black, and then put white lines on it just like a standard football field so that as we practice it's just like what they're going to see when they go and perform. the space, as we've discussed, would take us a little bit past the 20s maybe, so not the full size. And it would take us maybe a little bit behind the back hash, but not all the way to the back sideline, which would still, for our group and for what we typically do year in, year out, would be very adequate space for us to do that. If there was ever a need for us to do anything beyond that, we still, of course, have the opportunity to practice on our new wonderful stadium. So on those days, we would be able to, anything that we couldn't do on this field, we could do there. Having the lighting and being able to control that instead of me saying...
Parents and headlights, I've seen that plenty of times.
Or, hey, Mr. Thomas, can we get the timing, the sun setting quicker?
Yeah. Time has changed in October, right, Miss Harrington? Yes, it gets darker earlier.
We can get it changed a little sooner. And then,
It's hot.
there's been a lot of times where, we work so hard to get to that end of the season when it's always at Western, it's always at UK or U of L, and the vantage points for the judges are really high and really far away. And there's a lot of times in the current setup that we have, that staying on top of that box truck, I'm not seeing what the judges are going to see in the end result. To be able to have a tower that's tall enough for us to have that aerial perspective to look down would be really a drastic improvement. And then being able to have the tower back far enough that the sound comes right at us, where we can kind of take in everything that we're hearing at the same time. Currently, the setup we have now is there's some kids that when they're in front of the cafeteria, we're like, turn your bells in and let's see if we can hear that. And a lot of the sounds hitting the middle school and ricocheting off, and the kids sometimes they feel big and bad out there in the parking lot, but then we get to an actual contest and their sound's not bouncing off anything, and they sound really mousy and
because of the ricochet off the building.
Yeah.
it's not like what we normally have. So, and I will say, and I think we've had this conversation too, I think there's been a lot of people that have seen us out here, drive by. There's been, I think, a lot of people in the community have a lot of respect for the students and what they do because they see it so frequently.
Right.
I will, if we're back there, that will be something I miss. But, maybe,
The band quit practicing.
maybe one day we can have a sign out here that lights up like the Krispy Kreme sign, band practicing.
Yeah.
So everybody knows. But,
Come
we're
watch
just really
in the back.
excited about this possibility of being able to be able to see things from a better vantage point, hear things from a better vantage point.
Yes.
And I know, and it's not necessarily a keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing, but I do reside in Taylor County, and I've seen Taylor County's practice new tower, and I've seen Campbellsville's, and very, very nice. And I know we're not supposed to be envious and covet and that kind of thing, but I guess I'm being sinful right now. But we really would be excited about the possibility of having something back there like that.
And I want to be clear, this would certainly not exclude you and you all from practice on the new field, obviously. That would happen. But scheduling is hard, and then just proximity of things is hard. And you've shared with me before, there's some positives on practicing on that hard surface as well, when kids are marching and learning to march and all that things like that.
In this day and age, rarely do we go to a field where it's still grass. It's normally artificial turf. So practicing at our stadium helps us with that. But the hard surface like that, if it becomes a hard rain, if it's got maybe an area to drain, or we can just squeegee it off, or whatever the tennis people normally do. But being able to, rain or shine, be able to go out there and do what we need to do, and not have to, we got to stay inside because it's muddy, that kind of thing. Which is why we've been on this parking lot so much. I know my first years here, we had the old track field, and I went up in that old thing, and I hoped that the steps were going to rot underneath me, and I had my wasp spray that I'm just attacking all the nests in there. But,
Should we scoot it by? No workers' comp claim.
And then the other field back behind that had the metal structure up against the tree, which I call Death Trap Tower. But I got really good friends with that tree. There was a certain branch that I had to hold up in case the thing fell. But we've just made it work, and we're always going to make it work. And
Brenda's impressed. Miss Brenda's impressed with your humor tonight.
But anyway, we're just really excited about the opportunity to be able to do different than what we've been doing, and we're very appreciative.
You definitely earned it, that's for sure.
Always, have been supportive of our program, and as it is all the programs that we have here, but we're just so thankful for the support and the possibilities.
Well, and another thing that you pointed out to me with the band tower is it's important to where I may be judging visual and you may be judging the music. And so those levels are are important with that as well. And this band tower would afford that opportunity.
Yeah, there would be different tiers for, she could be up high looking down, I could be on the middle listening, other staff members could be there too to kind of see that kind of thing. And with there being electric right there and being able to potentially have a power source for any of our sideline electronics, instead of running power cords all the way up into the cafeteria. There's just a lot of things about that particular setup that could lend itself to being making things much more efficient for what we do, and just making things really go a lot smoother.
So obviously not asking for permission for you all tonight, but what I will do going forward, and there's some things that Ms. Carnes will need, and I will need to work through to bring back to the board, not to rain on anybody's parade, but there's no provision in our current district facility plan to do a band practice area or anything like that. So in absence of that, we could not use restricted funds. So we couldn't work up a project and sell a bond unless we did a finding and sent it to the state and amended our current district facility plan. So we need to look at that, and also we just need to get some estimates. The only way around that of not having, you still have to do BG1s and all that, but you would not have to do amend the district facility plan and go through all that process, is if it was a cash project, or meaning paid for out of general fund with that. And so that's conversations that Ms. Carnes and I need to have to give you all some options, and just to look at some good cost estimates. And it's nothing that we could do absence having an architect, because there's some civil, there's some structural, and so it's nothing that I couldn't just go out and hire this company to put up the band tower and bring in somebody else to blacktop it, because there's a lot of things involved. So it would have to be stamp drawings and all those types of things. So we would have to, Mr. Murray?
Where's the band tower watches them on the blacktop out here now?
On top of a panel truck.
Back 3 or 4 years ago, I brought that up before the board trying to get this moved. I've had the students talk about their shoes sticking to the blacktop. It be so hot during the summer.
I don't doubt it.
Probably with the band?
Yeah, and when it's wet, it's slippery and high risk of somebody being hurt.
And so if it was coated in the green, like Mr. Urban suggested,
it would make it 100% better.
it dissipates some of that heat.
Yeah.
And then we would still put those etch marks like they do on the football field.
I had students actually tell me that when we stood standing still, their shoes would stick to the blacktop out there, and then burning their feet up.
Yeah, it's hot. I mean, and there's no, of course, there's no shade on a football field anywhere.
No.
But it's hot.
At blacktop, say 100-degree day, it's 140 degrees.
And Mr. Urban, I hadn't thought about the projection of the music and how that sounds so differently, because they're doing that up against that building, to whereas when they're on the field and that's yards away, that's a lot different. Yes. Hadn't thought about that.
We're state bound now for sure.
There you go. Did you hear?
No.
She said we're state bound.
We'll try.
This other company that I've got a quote from to build the band tower, they're cheaper, and they built the one in Campbellsville that we've been looking at and talking with, and they're cheaper than the other one that I had gotten. I've been just having general conversations. Again, no action's been taken. I've not done anything like that. I've just been gathering information to present to you all. So okay, just kind of bring back a plan and discuss it at a more formal board meeting. Then,
We could also park that panel truck over there, saying.
well, there's a bank.
If it works, it works.
It's not very high.
The Lord watched over you all for certain. Yeah. Anything else, Mr. Irving, Ms. Harrington?
Thank you.
Well, thank you all, and Miss, I heard one of you all say it just a minute ago, the band's certainly deserving. Absolutely. You all do hard work and do good things for our students and our district.
Okay.
No. The next one.
Ready? Next item on the agenda is executive session, employee appointment discussions, superintendent.
We leaving?
Yeah, KRS
Mr.
61.810. 1F.
It is 6:17. So I recommend the Russell County Board of Education enter executive session for discussions which might lead to the appointment of the district superintendent.
Motion?
Motion, second.
Second. Vote?
Mr. Murray?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Selby? Yes. Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
Yes. We get to go across.
Mr. Greider's room. I think, Mr. Greider, that was okay, wasn't it? Yeah.
Need a motion to return from executive session?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
What time is it?
Second.
Vote.
46.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Selby?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
No action was taken on the executive session.
Excuse me. Oh, we got 2 or 3 left.
Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's contract, and I'm going to make the motion to enter into a contract of employment with Mr. Michael Ford to serve the district as superintendent for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2029, at an annual salary of $140,000, and to further authorize Board Chair Mr. Kazuk, myself, to execute the contract on behalf of the board as prepared by the board attorney. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Vote.
Mr. Murray?
No.
Mr. Selby?
No, and I want to make a comment. It's not the length of the contract, it's just, I don't agree with the increase of the salary. So my vote is no.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazuk?
Yes.
Well, I will like to say I appreciate the opportunity to serve Russell County Schools another 4 years. There's no other place that I would certainly rather be as superintendent, to go through school here and to get to continue to serve students of Russell County. So thank you all.
Next item on the agenda is personnel reports.
Rachel Tate, Jamestown Elementary School resignation. Anastasia Coons, Russell Springs Elementary School resignation from her position, but she's going to remain on the substitute list. Patty Wicker, Russell County Middle School, she's retiring at the end of May 29, 2025. Judy Lloyd, retiring from food service at middle school, effective May 28th. Jody Popplewell, retired Russell County, Jamestown Elementary School, MSD Instructional Assistant, April 1st. James Hancock, he's already given notice, he's moving back home. He's resigning as math teacher at Russell County High School at the end of the year. Mr. Greg Hammond resigned as Russell County High School assistant football coach. Jenna Lee Espada, hired as instructional assistant for the ESL Title III Immigrant Liaison Program, but she's going to start with the new school year in August of 2025. Clarissa Hart, hired district substitute teacher. She would be disappointed if I didn't say Moochie, hired as substitute teacher. People wouldn't know who I was talking about. Jamie McQuarrie, hired district substitute teacher. Dylan Perkins, hired district substitute teacher. Connor Robinson, hired district substitute teacher. And Keith Ellis, resigned, Russell County Middle School head boys basketball coach.
Next item on the agenda is public comments.
Well,
Well, I guess I don't get that free drink from Mr. Ford since I didn't get everybody to vote for him. I'll try better next time.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Who seconded that?
Aaron.
Okay.
Because he was faster than me.